Hundreds of races, and it all comes down to this.
Welcome to finals day at Henley Royal Regatta, and this is the last edition of the Progress Board for 2026. This is what everyone came for.
Yes, this afternoon the trophies will be presented, the champions crowned, and 2026 will be written into the record books. And today, Fergus, it's all about our winners.
Do you know what? It absolutely is, Camilla. It's finals day at Henley Royal Regatta, and because we're talking all about winners, I am absolutely thrilled to say that joining us in studio to kick off the whole show is Menno van Blitterswijk, the coach of De Hoop, winners of the Britannia Challenge Cup this morning. Menno, welcome to the studio. Congratulations. What does it mean to win? Because you've made a huge amount of history today, haven't you?
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for having me. Well, there's a lot of in between, or before this race, actually. We started, I think, in 2017 with a Coxless 4, and we started training in March, and then in 2019 we had another edition, and as our group grew and the ambitions grew, when we started rowing more seriously in 2021, I think, and we did the Thames Challenge Cup 3 times. We had 2 finals and a semi-final. And then, yeah, when it all comes down to an edition where you actually win, it takes all the years in front of it as well, and feels extra special to make it as an historical win, because we haven't had a win in the Netherlands for a non-student club. So this is, well, a first in many ways for us.
Incredible. Like, I could not believe that stat that you said, the first for the Netherlands in a non-student event. Well, you know, your race was absolutely phenomenal. You know, you led out from the start. Can you talk me through the race and tell me a little bit about what you said to the crew before they boated to produce such a special performance?
Yeah, I think up to this race we had 2 more... I'm sorry?
So here's your race on screen now.
Yeah.
Talk us through the race.
Before we went in the tent, we had a pre-talk, and we really focused on doing our own thing because we knew our strengths. And actually, the start wasn't our best bit until yesterday. And something just happened in the start, and we had a really good click, or at least they had. And then it went on, and it really set a really high standard for like the base speed. And it gave so much confidence to have that and to feel that. And especially this moment, I was front row sitting in the launch. And the intensity of the cheers, it said so much, and it meant so much to us to see it like that. Face them head on.
I can imagine, yes. And you've mentioned some of the races that you've been a part of in the Thames Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
De Hoop and Thames Rowing Club have had a big rivalry in recent years. It must be fantastic to have competitors like that to bounce off each other. But you came through them, you beat them earlier on. That must have been, you know, hugely exciting and a big achievement to pass them.
We jokingly said the curse is broken because we were kicked out, I think, 3 times by Thames Rowing Club, which is, well, they are a fantastic club. And we also share a lot of history because their head coach actually was a member of our club when he was in the Netherlands. And our, well, now coach, Jeroen van der Kal, was head coach at Thames Rowing Club. So we were intertwined quite a bit until, now the favourite was in our part to take the win.
I didn't realise there was so much history between you two. That is really quite remarkable.
We even share the colours, so...
Yes, you really do. I mean, fantastic. And so after this big historic Henley Royal Regatta win, what is next for the Big Boys United, as you're more commonly known as?
Well, we're hoping we are setting a certain standard for the rest of the Dutch clubs, because we have so much more clubs in the Netherlands that have this potential. Like if you stop college in the Netherlands, you also stop rowing in most cases, and go triathlon or ride a bike or something. But it's very unusual to do this kind of intensity at rowing. So we're really hoping to have other clubs join in as well and have more competition in the Netherlands as well between those, regular clubs, as we call them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, congratulations. It's been wonderful to have you here in studio, and we hope you enjoy all of the celebrations to come today.
Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you. Well, we had even more action this morning, even more drama, and the drama came in the form of the final of the Town Challenge Cup, which kicked off with these elite Cox's Fours. This is the premier event for women's Cox's Fours, the town, between Henley Royal Club on the left-hand side of your picture, the GB under-23s on the right-hand side of your picture, and you can see here, Fergus, this clash, this steering. You know, what do you do in this situation if you're the Dutch, who have just been sort of impeded in their water?
Well, we saw they had to steer right the way over to the left-hand side of the screen, all the way past the buoy lines at this point, actually holding the boat up with their right-hand blades on bow side. So it meant at this point, you know, they're all the way further back. The Nautilus crew, the Great Britain development boat, is already out in front, powering away from them. So it's a disastrous start for them. And as we can see, Nautilus just getting away from them in the distance. Red flag, though, from the umpire at the end of the race. And there was a bit of conversation that happened. You know, a hand raised from the Hollandia crew, meaning that they weren't happy with it and they wanted a discussion with the umpire. There was discussions that took place off the water, and ultimately the final decision was that it was a disqualification and therefore a win for Hollandia in the Town Challenge Cup.
Now, for the last race, we're going to recap from this morning, our last final. I am really overjoyed that we're going to be joined by our first ever winners of the Danesfield Challenge Cup. After a very quick recovery, I'm joined by Molesey Boat Club, Lara Grant, Bas Andre. Welcome to the studio. And I guess, firstly to you, Bas, how does it feel to be the first ever name that's going to be etched on the Danesfield Challenge Cup?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I think as women, we've been hoping that a club sculling event will come along for a long time. And yeah, it's so exciting that it's finally happened. And yeah, it's a privilege to be the first ones to get our name on that trophy.
And Lara, you know, it would be wonderful to hear from you just what it was like out there on the course. It'd be wonderful if you can just talk us through the race from your perspective and what it was like coming down that famous Henley course.
Yeah, so I think for our final, we were all quite excited to have just a full throttle go at the course. And yeah, just went off full guns off the start. We knew they would come out quick. It's a quick crew we were up against. Yeah, got Molly in stroke. She set us off with a really good rhythm. Put in a bit of a stride at 250, just coming onto that solid rhythm that we've been establishing all year. And then, yeah, you could feel the pushes they put in at each point, definitely sort of coming off the barrier into Forley, and just sort of responding to that while staying very internal in our own race plan. I think throughout this week we've just tried to stay quite clinical with it, and that sort of paid off, especially coming into the line, sort of unleashing our crank that we haven't been able to do this week was, yeah, good fun, and just doing what we've done all season, which was good.
Yeah, you know, like you say, you've been racing Leander for a lot of this season already. It would be great to hear more about how you guys came together as a crew and what your season's been like on the run-up to this regatta.
Yeah, so I think we started by targeting the club quad event at Forshead, and then obviously the news came out about the new event, and this was my first year as a club rower again after university, and to have an event for us was, yeah, incredibly exciting. And so we kind of put together a bit of a plan led by our coaches Sam and Ellie, and then looked to target Wallingford. We had a really successful camp, and then met Henley Women's and Ratsburg as well. And I think all those races together, that experience really just came together for today and peaked at the right point, which was amazing to be part of.
And Bas, 3 years you've been at Molesey Boat Club. You know, they won the Wargrave Challenge Cup last year. You've won the Danesfield this year. What makes Molesey Boat Club so special? I think our culture is our main thing. We have such a big women's squad. It's bigger than our men's squad. And I think, we make sure that everyone supports each other, and we really enjoy the process. And then the results come as part of that. So I think our culture is our strength. And I'm quite excited about what that will mean going through to next year as well. Hopefully we can build on that and, get another win somewhere. Fantastic. Well, Lara, Bas, congratulations. It's been wonderful to have you in the studio. Congratulations to the rest of your crewmates as well, to Molesey Boat Clubs, the first ever winners of the Danesfield Challenge Cup. And of course, we will be seeing that trophy lifted along with 29 others at prize giving later on this evening. But the spectators this morning have been gathering. They've all been coming off the trains from around Henley Royal Regatta, and it very much feels like excitement is building towards this afternoon. Doesn't it all look wonderful? The spectators are coming in, the grandstands are filling up, and the afternoon is set to be a sensational one here at Henley Royal Regatta.
Well, if you've been with us every day so far, all 6 days of the progress board, you know that we've been holding our stewards accountable for their bold prediction, their big call. And yesterday we had Greg Searle in the studio to tell us his prediction.
I'm going to stick with William Borlase. They're racing Leander today in the Forley, and I guess Borlase showed they can really tough it out in a close race. They were able to hang in, they were able to get over the line. So I'm going to go with another win for Borlase. And margin, I'm going to keep it pretty tight. I'm going to go with a canvas.
Wow.
To Borlase over Leander.
Borlase, a canvas. Let's see if Greg Searle was right. Well, here they are leading out this race. It's Borlase and Leander in this Forley Challenge Cup semi-final. But Leander had such a spectacular row, didn't they, Fergus?
Yeah, they did. You know, Sir William Borlase has knocked out the defending champions from Windsor Boys, but Leander Club just a class above the rest. And they've been a class above the rest on finals day as well. Leander would not only win this race, but they go on to beat Tideway Sculls School and win the Forley Challenge Cup today in one of the finals from this morning. So congratulations to them and to the whole of the Leander Club programme. Now, though, I'm delighted to say that earlier on this morning we caught up with Baroness Catherine Granger, and she, of course, is Olympic champion. She's the chair of UK Sport. She's an all-round rowing legend, and it was an absolute privilege to learn a little bit more about what the last 18 years of being a steward has been like for her and what this regatta means to her.
18 years, it feels like a really long time, and I don't feel I've been here that long. So it goes by very quickly. I had an amazing relationship with the regatta, first of all, when I was a student just watching it, and there weren't women's events really when I first started watching it. And then when I was in the national team, we were lucky enough to come and compete here. So you come here as a competitor, and that feels a very different thing as well from being a spectator. And then lucky enough to be a steward, you get to see the inner workings of the regatta. So you don't really understand as a competitor all that goes on behind the scenes, how much change there is, how much legacy there should be, where the traditions stay, but the innovation keeps coming. So I think my relationship's changed with it throughout the decades now, I guess, that I've been part of it, but it is such a special place to be.
Catherine, you just mentioned there that when you first started tuning into, well, watching the regatta from the banks, there were no events for you to race. So how special is it that we've got these 3 new women's trophies, particularly given that they're women's quadruple sculls events? You know, I'm sure people have watched you back in 2000, in 2008. Like, how special is it to you that we've introduced these new events to the regatta?
It's really special, but it's really important as well. This sort of drive for equality for women competing at one of the most prestigious regattas in the world is such a powerful message to send out. And we had a couple of nights ago, we had a huge dinner for, it's the 50th year since women competed at the Olympic Games. So we gathered athletes from every single Olympiad since 1976 right up until 2024. And it was a wonderful celebration of women. And what was great was those athletes who had been competing, decades ago, never got the opportunity to come here, never got the opportunity to take to the start line. They didn't really necessarily feel this was somewhere that they could belong, and they have just heard and watched all this innovation. And now we've got, in 1 year we added 3 new women's quads events, and it's phenomenal. And it changes people's attitudes, it changes people's mindset, it changes how coaches encourage athletes and crews to come to this point. So there's so many positives that come from it, and it also means there's some wonderful racing to watch.
Absolutely. Plenty of new features that have been added to this year's regatta, one of which is the new glamping that we've got for spectators and people enjoying the regatta. What have you made of that feature and that addition to Henley this year?
So I'm a big fan of change where it's for the right reason and good, and I think it's come as a response to people there's lots of places you can stay in and around Henley, but people love being on site. And it's an easier way, a slightly more affordable way to be here, so that when you are early morning coming down to watch the racing, or some people are staying up late at night, can you believe it, to enjoy all that Henley has to offer in the hospitality side of things. And then they can fall into their glamping area afterwards. And it's just, I think it's more of a festival experience for a lot of people now.
And talking of new additions and change, you're part of the commentary team. We've got our brand new race radio. So after you've maybe had a later night on the town, you can take your race radio and go and sit in the deck chairs and listen to our great commentary team with this new edition?
Camilla, I'm never without one of these now. I mean, honestly. I knew these from going to many rugby matches, and a lot of other sporting events have had this for a long time. But this is something new for Henley. And as we know, it can be a hard sport to watch at times when you're out and about. So you see a bit of, unless you can be near a television screen or follow the streaming, you just see a bit of a race you're in front of. Having this in your ear means that from the first stroke to the last stroke and beyond the last stroke, you're getting constant updates of what's happening out there. And it just, again, I think it just means the whole regatta is more accessible to more people.
And we're stood on the balcony, a balcony patio terrace of our studio for the Progress Board. What have you made of our brand new studio for this year?
I mean, I'm thinking, when do we turn into daytime TV? This is fabulous. This is like really comfortable. I think what's genuinely such a lovely thing is people can't seem to get enough. So, I think what we've done, adding more commentary, adding more racing, adding more live interviews, adding more colour to what is, a very competitive single sport event. Suddenly you get to tell the stories, you get space to understand what athletes have been through, what they're going through, what the roles of the stewards are. There's lots of richness that you wouldn't know just from watching some racing. So I think it's been a great addition.
No, I couldn't agree more. We've absolutely loved hosting the Progress Board. Thank you so much, Baroness Granger, for your time today. Before you go, you were on the very first session of commentary for Finals Day today,
Yes.
this morning with Jess Eddy. Any highlights, any particular races that you loved calling?
Well, first of all, when you're there from the very first race of Finals Day, it's a reminder what a massive day it is. So, you with the camera crews down at the start line, and there's this... The intensity is like nothing else come finals morning. And that first race, when there's calm, conditions are beautiful. But what it means to those crews and what it means when they then cross the finish line and that amazing, exquisite moment between, incredible success and huge disappointment is unlike anywhere else. But probably of the morning racing, the Island Challenge was the most dramatic style of rowing. And we had 2 women's eights thundering down the course, 2 American incredible crews, University of Washington and Brown University. And University of Washington took about a length lead in their event. And at that point, in an 8, that's usually a pretty good sign. They started well, they got into a really strong rhythm. And Brown just believed. There was a sense of, this is not over yet and we're not going to let it happen. And then they came right through University of Washington and won, I wouldn't say comfortable, but won by a decent margin at the end. And it's that incredible change of fortune and that reminder for every athlete out here, it's never over till it's over.
Absolutely not. Baroness Granger, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Finals Day at Henley Royal Regatta.
Thank you.
Well as Catherine's pick there in the Island Challenge Cup between Washington and Brown, we also have had some brilliant races, some standout finals this morning, the first of which in the double challenge sculls.
Yes, and I think the double Sculls Challenge Cup, I should say, is one of the most exciting out there on the course at the moment. And the final came down to Great Britain against Serbia. It was Makovic and Pimenov against Haywood and Knight. The Serbians on the left-hand side of your screen and the Brits on the right-hand side. And, of course, it's a new-look combination from Great Britain who have come together just ahead of the 3rd World Cup in Lucerne. They flew all the way to the final, but this experienced combination from Serbia, Makovic and Pimenov, just a class above the rest in this race, and they were able to glide out in front of the Brits, enjoying all of the applause as they come through Steward's enclosure. A great win for the 2 of them in the Double Sculls Challenge Cup.
Well, the next race that we are going to look back to and to jump in with the final is the Ladies Challenge Plate. We had Leander Club going up against Cambridge and Harvard, and we are delighted to be joined by the winning cocks from that crew, Erin Kennedy, double Paralympic champion, now Henley Royal Regatta Ladies Challenge Plate winner. I mean, this is your final, possibly, ever race. You announced your retirement just this weekend. How does that stack rank in terms of, experiences for you, that last run down the course?
It went so fast. I actually am really looking forward to sitting down and having a replay so I can watch it again. It has got to be up there with one of the best races of my career. I was rolling the dice a little bit, announcing the retirement early, but I just wanted to actually soak it in and almost do the last race knowing that it was going to be my last and not kind of safeguarding that secret. And it went so quickly, and it was, honestly, it's the race we've all been kind of manifesting and dreaming about, and it's one of the best things I've ever done.
Well, you wanted to look back, you wanted to sit down. Well, you're in our studio, and we can say that we can talk you through the race just now. It'd be wonderful to hear what it was like from your perspective in the coxswain seat.
So off the start, we've been talking so much about composure and just basically doing our thing. I really, really tried to not look out the boat at all. And to be honest, we were quite surprised to get a lead quite this early, because it had been sort of, you know, Cambridge had been right up there and we'd actually raced them recently. And it was at this point here in Stewards, I knew we had it, and I was just talking to them and just saying, like, enjoy this, like, keep it clean, don't make any mistakes, but like, you've got this. And it was unreal.
Now, Erin, you've been a world champion, you've been a Paralympic champion, you have got so much coxing knowledge and experience, and I know that you've been an ambassador for sharing that knowledge and experience with other coxes through the Winning Cox initiative that you and a number of other of your friends and fellow coxes, share. So talk us through, are you planning on staying involved in that? You've been such a great ambassador for the sport.
Yeah, we actually started the Winning Cox, and it's a number of other GB coxes, because we realised there wasn't really a lot of kind of opportunity for development for coxes, and we personally think it's the best seat in the house, and it's amazing to get to go and be a part of it. But it's actually really challenging in a club sometimes to have really good cox development, because you're generally, you know, the minority. You might have a coach that's never been coxed or been a cox before. So we wanted to really fill that gap. It's a, you know, social enterprise. It's all kind of, you know, majority is free at the point of delivery. We do conferences, which have well over 100 coxes every year. We've done a couple of those now. We do course walks for free. We did a Henley Royal Regatta course walk, showing coxes who've maybe never been here before how to kind of manage this really difficult course. And it's something I'm really excited to kind of lean into more in retirement.
And as you hang up your cox box and your life jacket, is there anyone in particular who's played a big part in your coxing career?
I mean, I think I need to definitely thank my husband, Sam, who has been a rowing widow for a very, very long time. But also at Oxford, particularly, Christine Wilson has been incredible. And, you know, there's been a lot of different people who have been a part of it. But Christine and Tasha, and then Matt Beachy at Leander as well has been incredible this year.
Well, Erin, I mean, you've had, as I say, we have so many incredible memories of watching you across Henley, across the world, your international career. It's been so special, and thank you so much for joining us here. I feel like we've been part of it as well, and looking forward to seeing what you do next and what you do, you know, with all that coxing mentoring. Hopefully we still get to see you around.
Of course, thank you.
Well, we are now moving to the next highlight of this morning's finals, which was the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup. Marlow coming into it as hot favourites, but they were really indeed pushed to the limit through this next final.
Do you know, they absolutely were, and I think Marlow Rowing Club have come into this as winners at the head of the Charles out in the United States of America, winners of the Schools Head, winners of the National Schools Regatta, and this was going to be their big moment, but it was fair to say Tidbury Scullers, the winners from 2023, didn't make it easy for them. They had to fight all the way down to the line, but this is it. This is the moment that Marlow Rowing Club have been waiting for as they come in and win the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup. They were absolutely delighted with that performance, and so they should be. Winners, the white flag to make sure it was a clean race, but yes, winners of the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup 2026.
I feel like that's been coming for Marlow for a really long time. So great to see them win out there in the Diamond Jubilee. But that was not the final of today. Oh, no. We have got so many more trophies yet to award, red boxes to give out, and we kick off again at 2 p.m. this afternoon with the Stewards Challenge Truck. We'll get to see the reigning world champions in action from Leander Club. There's also some brilliant Premier racing, the Remenham, the Queen Mother, all featuring international level competitors. And we'll round out the day with the Wyfold Challenge Cup, the Australians up against the home favourites from Thames Rowing Club. That's going to be such a race to watch. So that is the final of today of 2026. We can't wait to bring you all the action live again this afternoon. Well, we are getting to the end of the 2026 progress board, and with that, I'm really keen to get Ali back in the studio. Ali, come and join us. You've been out there on the riverbank. Thrilled to have you here to round off the day of competition.
Yeah, nice to have a sit down and take a bit of a breath and a bit of a breather before another load of finals. But yeah, it's been a fabulous week. The weather, we have been blessed with the perfect weather as well. Everyone on the banks has been enjoying it, but you know, it hasn't been too tricky for the rowers. I mean, we have seen a few incidents, but generally it's been lovely conditions. And
you've had a wonderful week. You've been up and down the riverbank. You've been talking to some of the coaches, spectators, the competitors as well. But what's been your big highlight from the week, do you think?
Obviously, finals day and interviewing the winners, the emotion and the euphoria and the noise is just something else. But I suppose in complete contrast, earlier this week I was lucky enough to went up in the Bremont Watches hot air balloon, and we went over the course, and getting that perspective of the track was just something else. And it was amazing. There was zero wind that morning. It was about 6:37, and we dipped down the basket. Must have been about a metre off the water. We were chatting away to rowers. They were in their morning, doing a bit of morning training. It was just amazing to see Henley Town, Temple Island, and the straight course all the way down to the finish line.
Beautiful pictures. When I saw this come out, I was like, wow. I mean, what a time to be up in the air when it's all quiet and still. You very rarely see Henley like that during regatta week. So, what a privileged position to be up there in the air. Now, you mentioned you've had so many interviews throughout this week, not only with athletes, but with spectators, with some of the crowds that come here. Do you have a particularly, special or favourite interview that you've conducted this week with anyone?
It's really hard, no. But I think on finals day, I've just interviewed the Headington girls, having won 3 regattas in a row, and I'm a mum too, and it's very hard to not get emotional. And it's just the work that these guys put in. I think maybe the junior crews are more emotional, but every crew here puts in so much work to just get to Henley. They may be knocked out on a Tuesday, but to get all the way to Sunday's final, and so they would be my favourite interviews, just because of the, as I said, just noise and euphoria with all of the supporters and spectators, family members around them as well.
And you've been at Henley for a number of years now. How does this year's regatta compare to some of the others that you've been a part of?
Well, I have seen thunder and lightning where we've had to delay finals day, rain all week. Last year was a bit of a mini heat wave. So I do think in terms of weather conditions, it's been perfect. I touched on the conditions on the river as well. There's always just such a feel-good, happy feeling. And obviously the rowing takes centre stage, world-class rowing, but it's a hugely important British social event as well. And the crowds on the banks as well have been hugely, it's been so busy in all of the different regattas and enclosures, so it's got to be right up there.
Absolutely. Ali, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to have you out in the riverbank chatting with everyone and helping bring the regatta to life. But that's just about it for the Progress Board in 2026. Of course, racing will be back in an hour. But just before we get to all of that, this show wouldn't have been possible without our wonderful production team. There's too many to choose from. But with Tom, Drew, Pedro, Claire and everyone else who has contributed, it's been wonderful to help tell the stories and bring the narratives to life at Henley Royal Regatta 2026.
Well, if you've missed some of the racing this week or missed any of the finals this morning, my first question is, where have you been? But secondly, if you do want to catch up on any of those races, you can go to the Henley Royal Regatta YouTube channel and catch all of the races on replay and also live again from this afternoon. So in the next couple of hours, we will have champions crowned. We will have trophies lifted once again here in 2026. And we never like to say goodbye at Henley Royal Regatta. So all I'll say is for this afternoon's finals, continue to enjoy every last stroke.